3, 2, 1, action!
To do a fight scene properly, you need to really train for it and be prepared for it. And for this movie, I trained with the guys for 2.5 months. So when we did the very first fight sequence, my whole body was ready for it. Mentally and physically, I was ready for it. And it was really thrilling to be able to actually do it after you've been trained for 2.5 months, to finally get to do it in front of the camera and see that it turns out well. That's the satisfaction.
It takes place on Valentine's Day, so even though we're on this backdrop of like an ex-mob enforcer type killer turned realtor, it's really about this man trying to commit to the woman he loves.
I think you could boil it down to, the story of two people who, for different reasons, really wanted to choose each other, but things got in the way. I also think that this film is about, the reality that opposites attract. You're watching two people who don't necessarily make sense together, and yet they make perfect sense.
My Ariana DeBose, I love her. I love Ariana. I met her during the height of the award season for our movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. She was very supportive and she was rooting for me. She was very kind and very friendly. And I will never forget, on the night of the Oscar, when she came out and she was holding the Best Supporting Actor envelope. And she opened it and announced the Oscar goes to, and she said my name with such emotion. I loved her. I loved her from that moment on, and I will love her for the rest of my life. So, and when her name was first mentioned for the role of Rose, I told Guy, our producer, I said, can you please make that happen?
There's fire, but there's vulnerability, there's power. She has all those things kind of rolled up into one. And it's really hard to say, what one trait it is. I think it's just a mixture of things. And I'm very I go by vibe, kind of thing. You feel it, and she just is that character. I don't even know how to say it. Like Rose is her.
They were like, oh, it's a star vehicle for Huy Quan, and I was like, great, sign me up. I had the privilege of presenting him with his Oscar the night that he won, and I watched him through that campaign season, because it is a campaign, let's just be real. But he walked through it with such joy and such care, and he was so supportive to the people around him. It was really a beautiful thing to watch. It told me a lot about the person that he is, and so getting the opportunity to work with him on set, he could not be a more generous, protective, loving scene partner. But it wasn't a stretch to, fall in love with Key on screen, not at all. I'm like, ooh, Mr. Quan. He's charming. Oh, come on, he's got more charm in his little finger than most people have in their whole body.
The last time Sean and I shared any meaningful scenes together was 40 years ago on The Goonies, when I was told that, our producers were out to Sean for the role of Cliff. Immediately, I thought he was just the perfect actor to play Cliff. And I really want it to happen for a number of reasons. One is, he's a great actor. And second, we have this relationship. We are, brothers for life because of that movie, Goonies. And I remember when they reached out to him, I texted Sean and I said, hey, I know the producers are talking to you, but I just wanted to say that it would mean the world to me if you would say yes to the role of Cliff. And fortunately, he said yes. And reuniting with him on this movie, it was so special. And I remember when we did our first scene together, all of a sudden I was transported back to 1985 when we were on set The Goonies. Suddenly I was a kid again.
I think I was initially drawn to the character because I've yet to play anyone like her. She's a little bit unhinged. It's giving a side order of Harley Quinn, in conjunction with all of the badass women that I have loved seeing on camera. It's all of those different things. You can be badass and quirky at the same time. And I subscribe to that, gospel, to be honest. I loved that she literally kind of feels like the backbone to our story. And you don't have a film if Rose does not choose to put her crazy Valentine's Day, plan into action.
We basically rewrote it for him. So a lot of the, the personality traits and everything it's key. And I don't think people understand too, is like, he came up doing stunts in Hong Kong and things like that. So when they see him do action, I think they'd be surprised. I mean, he did Summon Everything Everywhere at Once, but that was just kind of the tip of the iceberg. So I think people are gonna be really surprised how physical he is.
I love Jojo. He is a very collaborative filmmaker. He listens, and he's very, he came up with, he loves the little stuff. He's very good at just coming up with the little stuff that it's there, and it just enriched the characters a lot. He's very open to ideas, and he also has a lot of great ideas. This is his first time as a director, but it's something that he's been preparing for a long time. In terms of action, it's like, it's so easy to him. He knows the language, it's very easy. But to see him direct the drama stuff, the dialogue stuff, it was great. He kind of reminded me of my mentor, Koi Yuan, who, he kind of followed a very similar path and went on to become an incredible filmmaker himself. And that's Jojo for you.
Say it out loud.
Scene 52A, take one!
Too close, Craig.
Yes. He does the rest.